you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Eshi and I do a ton of DIYs and personal finance videos. Though to be fair, I haven't uploaded in a second, so I apologize for that. This is the 4th time I'm trying to record this. Thank you, audio issues. I am fairly new to this thrift flipping game, and as I continue on in my journey, I figured I would share some tips that I learned with you guys so you could also start making a profit flipping furniture. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to post your pieces online to get the most amount of customers interested as possible. If you stick around till the end, I will be showing you my 3 thrift flips for this week. Also, please don't mind the dead leaves behind me. I forgot to water my plant for 2 weeks and now it's a goner. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and just click that like button, it helps me out a lot. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. My number 1 tip on posting your pieces online is to take some really good quality pictures. That means getting your pieces out in some good lighting and maybe decorating a little bit to show people what it would look like in their home setting. It makes it easier for them to imagine what it would actually look like in their house. I usually use this type of picture as my cover photo on my listing to attract more of an audience. Your smartphone should be perfectly good enough to take these pictures with. You also have to make sure to get as many angles of your piece as necessary, and if there's drawers or doors that open, make sure to get pictures of the inside of your piece too. But honestly, no one's gonna buy your furniture if your piece is just stuck in a corner in a basement with terrible lighting and no effort at all put into the pictures that you take. I feel like this is a very obvious tip, but you would be surprised at how many listings that I scroll through that the piece just looks so bad because of the lighting, or they've just stuck it in a corner and only taken one picture of their piece. My second tip has to do with the title of your listing. Again, this seems like a bit of an obvious tip, but you would be surprised. Make sure to include the style of your piece, what type of furniture piece it is, if you're selling multiple of the same piece. You can also include things like color or condition. Either way, I would just recommend doing a quick search for that type of furniture to see what other people are posting it as. Use some of those more common titles so that you can get more clicks on your item. When it comes to figuring out what style your piece is, I would definitely do some research. If there are any popular styles or buzzwords that are going around, figure out if your piece also applies to that style. For example, right now, vintage, mid-century modern, and boho are the styles to be. So if your piece fits into one of those categories, definitely include it in your title because people will be searching for it. At the same time, don't just add a buzzword into your title to get more clicks. Make sure your piece actually falls into one of those styles. Otherwise, it's a bit misleading. The third most important part of your listing is the price. This can definitely be the trickiest part of your listing because you may not be sure what exactly to sell your piece for. Again, you're gonna have to do some research for this. If you have Google Photos, there's this really cool feature called Google Lens where it will take your picture and find matches online for your piece. That way you could get a good sense for what your piece sold for when it was brand new. I would also do searches for your piece on Facebook Marketplace to see what other people are selling their used items for, but my personal piece of advice is that it's easier to start off higher than to start off lower with your price. It's just always been easier for me to start listing my pieces a little bit higher and then seeing if I get any attention, and if I don't, just slowly start marking it down until I get those inquiries coming in. If I start off low and then I get a bunch of people asking about it, I always get the sense that I could have priced it a little bit higher, and then at that point it's a little hard to do that. The more you post on Facebook Marketplace or other resale sites, the better you get at guessing what price you need to start off at. At the end of the day, the price also depends on how long you're willing to wait for that one perfect buyer. If you think a piece is really worth the money and you've spent a lot of time upcycling it and you don't mind storing it away until you get that one perfect buyer, then maybe you're okay to keep the price high and not drop it down too much. If you want to get rid of a piece pretty fast, maybe price it a little bit lower so that you get a lot of interest. My last tip on making the best possible listing for your piece has to do with the description. This is really where you can fill in all those details and answer all those questions on what your piece really is. I would always start off with a couple sentences on what type of piece it is, what condition it's in, just a general summary of that piece. I would then mention whether the price is negotiable or not. Typically, if I've started off with a higher price, I will always put in the description, the price is negotiable. And I think the most important part of your description is the dimensions. You have to measure your piece and you have to put all the dimensions in your listing. Just make it easier on yourself yourself and do it to begin with, so that you don't have to answer a bunch of questions from different people on how big your piece is. Guaranteed, anyone who's looking to actually buy your piece will want to know anyway, so just put it in your listing. It also just makes it easier on the customer to check the space, see if your piece fits in it so that they can contact you immediately. And you want it to be as simple as possible for your customers. And at the very end, I would also add in your description your preferred method of payment, whether that's cash, Venmo, or maybe PayPal. It just makes it easier on them so that they don't have to ask you that question later. And that's it. Those are all my tips on making the perfect listing for your piece so that it sells fast and at a high price. On to this week's 3-in-1 thrift flip. I actually got all 3 of these pieces at the same resale store, and I found them through Facebook Marketplace. I got this vintage nightstand for $15.60. Immediately when I saw the carved details on the front and the cute brass handles, I just imagined it being in a little kid's room, and for me, that meant light pink. I sanded off as much of the surfaces as I could with my hand sander. And then I did 2 coats of my white shellac primer. I then did 3 coats of this beautiful light pink shade. I finished it off with 2 coats of this matte top coat all over, and then on the top and around the edges of the piece where I figured it would get scuffed up a little bit more, I did an extra coat, making that 3 total coats. I gave the handles a quick clean and then I sprayed it with the Satin Bronze spray paint from Rust-Oleum. So my total cost for this piece was around $25 with all of the paint, the sandpaper, what I bought the piece for. And originally I listed it on Facebook Marketplace for $100 because I knew how solid of a piece this really was. But unfortunately, maybe because of the pink color, it didn't get a lot of interest at that $100 price point. I kept lowering it a little bit until I got to $70 and then I got a lot of interest. I've had so many people reaching out about it, but I still have not had someone willing to come and buy it. I definitely think the color and the style requires a certain type of buyer, so it's taking a little bit longer to sell. But hopefully I will sell it soon for $70 and I will make a total profit of $45. But I'll let you know how that goes. My next piece was this beautiful wingback rose accent chair, and I found it from the same resale store for $5. It was such a steal, it was ridiculous. It was in fairly good condition with not that many scratches and with a few stains. So all I did for this piece was buy an upholstery cleaner and go to work on those particular stains. I already had a really good vacuum. It's actually the vacuum we bought to clean up pet stains, and it came with a really nice hand tool. So I just spent about a half hour really cleaning the chair, the seat cushion, and the accent pillow as well as I possibly could. I really wanted to make sure the new owners would get it as fresh as possible. So my total cost for this chair was about $10 to $15 with the cost of the chair and the cost of the upholstery cleaner. I originally listed this piece for about $250, but I ended up lowering the cost until I got a little bit more interest, and I ended up selling it for $150. And with that, I made a total profit of about $135 to $140. Not bad for a half an hour worth of work. My last thrift flip for this week is actually 2 pieces, so I'm kind of throwing in an extra thrift flip for you. I found these 2 lamps at the same store and they were doing a deal to buy one get one free for all lamps. It was my lucky day, so I bought 2 lamps for $7.50. All I did was clean and polish off the brass and really clean the dust off of those lampshades, and I've already sold the smaller one with the light pink lampshade for $10. I'm still waiting to sell the really big heavy brass lamp, but so far I've already made back my costs, so I'm pretty happy with it. And that's it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed all of my thrift flips this week, along with all of my tips for you to start doing this as well. I know you guys can do this too, so try it out and let me know in the comments below how it goes for you. Don't forget to click that like button if you learned anything new today, and don't forget to click subscribe so you can see more content from me coming up. I really appreciate you guys watching and staying tuned for my videos. It really means the world to me. You have no idea. I just want to thank each and every one of you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.